Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Behind the Walls with Candy. We are now on episode 5. Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you all in advance who've been watching my videos, who started to follow my page, and I'm ready for start having some conversation and talking about this thing called love, you guys. It's a roller coaster, and I'm on it. If y'all on it, we gonna be on this roller coaster together. Today's episode is entitled I am not on trial. This is when all the questions start to come out and all the speculations and all the judgment from all the people around us once they find out what type of relationship we're in. So grab your drink of choice, come sit down with me, and let's talk about it. Okay? So for me, we've gotten to a place now where the love is in the air. Some people might say your nose wide open. My nose was wide open, you guys. And I had gotten to a point to where I no longer wanted to hide it. I no longer felt the shame. I was no longer afraid of what people may say and what people may think. And I stayed in this space for quite a few months before I finally had that epiphany to where I just didn't care. I loved him. I wanted to love him out loud. I wanted people to know that I loved him because it was all over me. I was glowing. Like he had me glowing, y'all. Can y'all imagine a man in the situation that he was in had me glowing? Do you understand? Okay. And I loved every minute of it. I was eating it up. And so uh I no longer wanted to hide the way I felt. I didn't want him to think that I was ashamed of him. I didn't want him to think that, I he was a secret and that I had a problem with us being, exclusive and being in a relationship. And then I wanted to free myself at the same time. It's a burden when you holding something in that's so precious to you, something that you can't share with people, or that you're afraid that if you share with them, how are they going to react? Did you all have that moment? Have you ever been in the moment where you felt so passionate about something, but you knew that the people around you were going to have negative comments and things to say and full of judgments? And, some of them might even want to turn their backs on you because I've known some people that have been in a relationship similar to the one that I'm in, that we're in, or that you all may be even considering being in. And once their family and friends and, associates find out who they're associating themselves with and what their circumstance is, they're like, oh, nope, don't want no part in that. Nope, you on your own, baby. You know what I mean? And I've known that to happen, and I feel like that's just so sad because at the end of the day, love is love, and we're all adults and young adults or whoever. And we have the right to love who we want to love freely and wholeheartedly and not have to worry about what people are going to say and how they're, going to react to us. So tell me, like, for you all, when you got to that point, like, how did it turn out for you, And so fast forward, I had decided that I was going to let whomever, my loved ones, everybody business ain't they business. So I ain't just walking up to random people and say, hey, I'm in relationships. I'm so happy and he's in prison. Like, nah, that shit weird. Nah, it wasn't that. But my family, close friends, and things of that nature, I felt like I had to let them know where I was and stand on business. So my mom had already had an inkling of what was going on. She knew that I would, communicate with him because she was there on day one when it all began, right? So she already kind of knew what was going on, but she didn't know to what extent. She didn't know that we had gotten stingy and things had gotten serious and that, we had decided to be in a relationship. So when I told her, she really just didn't say very much. She was like, "Oh, oh, really?" And whatever. She didn't really say nothing. But your mama. Everybody know your mama, and when they kind of being passive, or they're trying to be careful and tread lightly, and not want to say too much because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Some people, parents, on the other hand, they don't get down. They gonna say what they want to say, and they don't care how you feel about it. But my mom, she is not that person. She kind of he play it face when it comes to what she says to me sometimes because I could be a little firecracker and he say too much wrong thing, then we just might end up being in an argument or something like that. And so she just wouldn't admit, like, she didn't do that. She didn't say very much. Now I know that them wheels was spinning in her head because she was like, "Oh Lord," because she that type. But I know what that means, So, but that was pretty much it for her. But then, I told my brother. My brother was like, "Oh, don't you know him? Don't you know him?" Da 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 da. Because they, like I said in my initial video, that we had crossed paths with very similar people. And I just didn't know that he had crossed that kind of path with my brother. So my brother knew him. She was like, he was just like, "You know him?" And that. And I'm like, "Nah, I don't know him though." You know what I'm saying? And I was like, but at the end of the day, who am I to judge somebody's past? Because baby, I got a past too. And it may not be a past to where like I got caught up in like the system and like law and all that kind of stuff, but I got a past. Everybody has a past. And I'm just not the one to judge somebody about, their past and what they've done in their life or whatever they did before me. Because that has nothing to do with me at the end of the day. And so, he was just kind of like, "Oh, da da da," but he ain't say too much. But see, one thing I know about my family, they know me very well. While they may not say something directly to me because they're gonna try to protect me and they're gonna try to make sure that they don't hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, as it relates to like my mom and dad, he and I are all we have when it comes to my mom and dad's kids. And so, he ain't gonna shake the ground with me, like, for real. But I do know, and I'm willing to bet that there have been conversations between them that they aren't going to tell me, which is fine. Cause it might be the best thing for them to do because I'll get defensive, right? And I'll go there. And so it was just a whole lot of nervousness, but at the same time, I feel so relieved, right? Because my brother's like, that's just not what I see for you. That's not the person I see you being with. You deserve this and that and da da da. You deserve somebody that's around, that's to love you and things of that nature. But the thing about that was for me, you guys, that tangibility of a person being around me that's accessible to me, it it distorted my thought process and it changed the way that I was perceiving things. I was thinking things were more than what they were, because that physical stuff, it'll fuck with your head. And so for me, it was good for me that we drew a emotional connection before we grew the physical connection. We already knew that like we were attracted to each other and everything. Like He attractive, I'm attractive. Like we were attracted to each other instantly, but that physical connection, it came later on down the line. So for me, it worked out for me to get that emotional connection first. So I understood, and while I didn't get a lot of questions. Okay, I'm lying. Yes, I did. I did. I got a lot of questions from other people, not necessarily my family. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other people were asking me, why would you do that? Why would you be in a relationship with somebody like that? Um, my best friend, she's been my best friend for over 30 years. And she is beyond my friend. That's my sister. And I love her dearly. And I think out of all the people that are in my circle, I think I was most nervous about what she was going to say because we raw, and it's not we don't take it personal. Our feelings don't get involved. We raw, we respect each other's opinions and things of that nature. So I think I know I was most nervous about what my best friend was going to say because she was going to let it rip. So I took a deep breath one day and I called her up, and we just having our casual sister to sister conversation, filling each other in. We have busy lives. We're busy moms, we're busy with, careers and other family things, and so we don't speak a lot. But when we do, it takes us hours to get it all out. Maybe even days to catch up. Like we'll call each other for days. We be on the phone all day, you know. Just catching up. So I called her one day and I let her know what was going on in my life and where I was, as it relates to like my relationship. And she was like, well, I don't like this for you. I think you deserve better, but I support whatever you do. I just really wish that, you would have waited until he got out and kind of see how he was going to reacclimate himself, to society before you all got into a relationship. And I respected that. Um, I didn't think about that at the moment. I was in the moment. I was just letting things just kind of be and flow naturally and effortlessly. And so in hindsight, she might have been on to something, but we'll get into that and later on down in future episodes. But I respected how she felt and I knew how she felt. And, she asked the questions. Like she was the one that was asking the questions. She needed to know like what my thought process was. She needed to know why I made this decision. She needed to know why I just didn't take the time and just wait. And like she had the questions. She grilled me just a little bit respectfully though, because that's what we do. So, but with other people, it was a lot of questions and it was a lot of judgment and it was a lot of negativity that came behind it. Luckily, I didn't have anybody turn their backs on me. Um, my dad asked me questions and, things of that nature. And after a while, I just got tired of the damn questions. Cause at the end of the day, do I question y'all about who y'all with and what y'all do? And do I even care? First of all, let's start there. I don't care. But I got tired of the questions and it was really feeling like I was on trial, bro. Like just question after why this, why that, who that, did you know this, don't you know that, all the stuff, the stuff that we talked about in episode 1 and the stigmas and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, hey, I was tired of that. And it did feel like I was on trial, you guys. And I couldn't take it no more. I just got to a point where, like, I don't owe you an explanation. I am almost 40 years old because 6 years ago, well, five and some change. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my late 30s, mid to late 30s. And I don't owe y'all no explanation about why I'm doing what I'm doing with who I'm doing it with because I don't care about what y'all feel about what I got going on. And I really don't care about what y'all got going on. If you happy and you loving who you love and they are giving you what you need and pouring into you the way that you need to be poured into you, then why do I care? That's all that matters to me, that you're happy. But some people, some people just can't be happy for you. It don't matter if you're dating somebody locked up behind the walls, if you're dating a cow, if you're dating a man walking down the street, the milkman, the mailman, they don't care if you dating a billionaire. Somebody gonna have something to say. Somebody gonna have a problem. So why do I even care? And I was tired of feeling like I was on trial. And that's when I started getting defensive. And that's when the negative energy started to come out in me. And I didn't like the way that made me feel. I didn't like the places that some people were taking me when it came to my relationship. Like that was I was tired. Have you all ever been in a relationship where you had to defend yourself and you had to defend the choices and the decisions that you made, whatever makes you happy? You had to defend your happiness. Why do we have to defend our happiness? It is what it is. So why do we have to do all that? I felt like it was unnecessary, and I just got to a point to where it was just I was done with it. So y'all tell me, I got a question for you. And this we always end with a question because we're coming to the end of episode 5. Episode 5. I'm not on trial. So do you all feel like, or have you all felt like you've had to prove your case? And if you did, tell me, what was the situation? How did you deal with that situation? And what was the outcome? I'm waiting to hear from you. All right, you guys, we're about to wrap this thing up. I want to again thank you all for coming to sit down with me and talking about it. I thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and just to come and kick it with your girl. I look forward to interactions. I'm looking forward to seeing more of you viewing my episodes and following my pages. Now I'm on all the platforms, you guys. I'm on YouTube, which is our primary platform. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and the book. Go and look for me at Behind the Walls with Candace on all social media platforms. You heard me? I'm so excited about that. Now, you can always send me your stories, anonymous or not, to my email address, behindthewallswithcandace@gmail.com. I will always respect your privacy. I will always uphold us with the most dignity, and I'm going to protect us so that we can continue to have these conversations. We can continue to sit down with our drinks of choice, and we can continue to talk about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you all next week, Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where episode 6 will be on the way. You all have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon.